So we're looking here at our ionic versus covalent assignment, and this is all about pulling the two bonds together and really looking at how they're the same and how they are different. So you should already have a start with your fill in the blank paragraph up here and your Venn diagram here. Remember, if you're doing this on Notability, you should be easily able to grab the little scissors and cut out what you're writing and then decide, is that something that happens to just ionic bonds, both bonds, or just covalent bonds? So that's what we're thinking about here in this diagram. Okay, we are going to focus right now on this part 2. So just looking at how to set up both the bonds. Here we have two examples of elements. We have bromine and chlorine. Looking at your periodic table, we should be able to decide if this is a metal or a non-metal. So I'm going to pull this up so we can see it together. Got a few notes on here from last time. But bromine is here in this dark category. That means it is a non-metal. And looking at the periodic table and the diagram, I should be able to figure out what group it's in. I can either trace straight up, or looking at the dots around the element, I know it is in group 7. It will gain or lose electrons to get to that stable point. It has 7. Thinking about what it wants, it will definitely be gaining 1 electron to get there. Same set of questions over here for chlorine. We see chlorine is in the exact same area as bromine. Here it is right above it. So we know it is also a nonmetal, also in group 7, and also will gain 1. So here we're looking at two elements that need to gain. If they both need something, we know that an ion will not form. Right? Ions happen with electron transfer. We do not see electron transfer here because each element needs a gain to electrons. So your goal here is to figure out, is this an ionic bond or covalent bond? So you're going to circle up your best answer. And then, of course, give your because, your reasoning. What are you noticing? What are you observing about these two elements and how they might work together to complete those bonds? So think about some of those keywords that we saw in both the learning targets and the paragraph above. Here, for example, number 2, same idea, just two different elements. We're looking here at magnesium. So we can find that one over here on this end of the periodic table. Magnesium is a non-metal. A metal, and it is part of group 2. We can again see that by looking at the group number or the valence electron dots around the outside. Knowing it has 2, its options to gain or lose, it would much rather lose those 2 electrons. And as it does that, it would become a positive ion, right? We're losing 2 pimples, getting rid of them, transferring them over. The ion is going to be formed. 2+ is what we're thinking about. Chlorine, back to that one, which we looked at in the previous, so we have a lot of that information already. Non-metal, group 7. Here it is going to still want to gain 1. And now, because it's working with another ion, it's going to create a negative ion. And that will be 1- as it gains another electron. So here you should start to see some opposite things happening, just like we did up top. We want to circle what kind of bond this is going to happen and give our because. And again, thinking about those keywords.